October 9, 1937. Dear Marg, you are probably wondering what has happened to me. As you can see by the postmark, I am home, arriving by car Sunday 7 a.m. Since I last wrote you, I have traveled a little over 500 miles by canoe, car, train and plane, also shoe leather. 3 weeks ago, Saturday the 7th, we were sent to a group of claims on the east end of Abitibi Lake at the Quebec border. We flew in from Larder and walked over from the Straits through to Canadison only to be sent from there into Katrine. It snowed the first day in Abitibi, about a foot, and it was some fun making camp and melting snow, then, for hard days of work and a 3-day trek out. I developed a nice cold. However, my dear, this doesn't excuse my long absence, or rather silence. I could have written the night I landed at Larder before striking for Katrine, but felt so tired and used up from the cold. I just went to bed after supper. However, please excuse and forgive this time, please. We came out to Kirkland Lake from our second trip last Saturday. Hired a car at 6 o'clock at night and struck for Bracebridge. The driver played out this side of North Bay, so I drove the rest, arrived home at 7 in the morning. I have slept ever since. Believe me, I was some played out. I would like to come to the city to see you, dear, but do not know what is up next and when. Also, this last stock slump gave me quite a slap, but things are coming back. Well, dear, this is some short note. Mother is calling all to the table, and she is not fooling, so we'll close. As always. Roger. P.S. None of the northern snaps turned out. Here are a couple of myself and mother, also one of Gil, another wayward boy. L. Roger. October 11, 1937. Dear Marg, both your letters received last week. I should have written before, dear, and have no excuse to offer except last week was a hilarious week up here and I stepped out a little. Don't think I had forgotten you, Marg. I couldn't if I tried, and certainly have no intentions of trying. I really enjoy your letters, also, clippings. I wish I could return some, but only get magazines, which you probably read before me. We thought we were through here last Sunday and so paid off the men and straightened bills, etc. We planned a real week. Monday, it turned cold and a little snow fell that night. Tuesday was windy and bitter, so we struck for town to get ourselves a bath, shave, haircut, etc. and heavy underwear. I hope you don't mind this. Just as we reached town, the bus for Kirkland pulled in, so we decided to jump aboard. We landed in Kirkland in time for supper. Picked up Jim's 2 cousins, we still have on our bush clothes, and off to the show, Dick Powell's Varsity. Hence to a dance hall until after the bus had left, so camped in the best hotel. With only a pocket comb between us. Traveling light, eh? Came back to Larder about noon and stayed for the election excitement, and believe you me, it was exciting. Everyone had a chip on their shoulder. To hang around a committee room was next to suicide, and the whole town was, but except yours truly, who thought it healthy to stay sober. There was a big dance that night, although the hall sold out, nobody danced. Next morning, a letter from the boss saying he had added 3 new claims to our group and to get busy on them. So here we are, so far behind as ever. Went into town Saturday for grub and a haircut. I did manage a bath in Kirkland. Your second letter was there informing me Sunday was Thanksgiving, so we decided to go to Kirkland and get a real setup for the festive day. Returned by the later bus. Happy as a couple of Christmas shoppers. The dinner was fine, and all of our cooking except one was a success. Roasted chicken, dressing, creamed potatoes and cauliflowers. Rice cake and a pumpkin pie. The pie I made, but the filling came out of the can was good, but also the pastry. It fairly baked when broken. Oh well, despite the fact it was a success. We had an old Swede over and he really enjoyed himself. He was like a kid at his first party. We topped the evening off with rye and cigars. Old Jim Maginutian, the old Swede, told us all the old yarns of this neck of the woods for 20 years back. He left about 2 o'clock or later and we slept in until 10 in the morning. Well, Marg, this is some scratch, I'm afraid. Also, I'm afraid I'm out of news. I didn't smash your vote though. I didn't have one this year, really forgot to have it transferred in time, so you see how close you came to losing yours. I would have voted Liberal if casting a vote up here. The candidates here aren't much, missed the boat or something. However, the Liberal was the most sensible of the three. I am afraid though he will be a little large around in the hat. He forgot it's the party the people want, not him. 10 o'clock dear, and I'm really tired. I have yet to complete your puzzle, but we'll try again. I can't seem to hold enough people articles in my mind at once to determine an answer. Well dear, we'll close now. Lots of, shall I say it? Love. Roger. P.S. After thinking this letter over, I had better tell you, I have yet to get my haircut. October 17, 1937. Dear Marg. Your letter received last week, and so glad to hear from you, dear. I suppose you had a thankful Thanksgiving. I believe I told you of mine. It sure has been cold this last week. Now every day, and cold at night, we took turns putting on fresh fire all Friday night. There was ice along the shore next morning, and the can of milk was hard as nails. However, it turned warmer, and today was really nice. The snow was all gone, almost like spring again. Wish it was spring instead of fall. I'm afraid my job's hanging on threads, so I'm making a few inquiries elsewhere just in case. Good old winter. Got a letter from a cousin of mine. Quite a character. She did a little nursing in first aid camp during the war. Her boyfriend was wounded in action and left a cripple to such an extent they couldn't marry. Her letter informed me he had been killed in a plane crash, returning home after a party. It's people like that I feel sorry for. Both with lots of spark and yet steady enough not to burden each other. Oh well, such is life. But not mine, I hope. I want to see a little of everything first. I have it all planned out, but of course, there's always an if. In this case, if I can make BC in the spring. There are so many things a fellow can do with a little start. I want to be on my own and not be tied to a job. I couldn't imagine sticking to one thing for good. Not even this lifestyle, although it's the best I've struck yet. Here there are opportunities if one can just nab them as they go by. Received a letter, or rather note, from my younger brother, Jack, informing me he has fixed up my old bus. It's running fine, only he got pinched $10, which broke him. So, would I mind buying a tire for my car? Boy, it takes a kid to figure things out. Mother says he spends hours puttering around it and has parts strewn everywhere each Saturday. We have got to work out your puzzle, just can't determine the section. So we'll call for your answer. In the meantime, try this one, and do it slowly. Watch your punctuation marks. If the BMT part. If the B. Parting. Very simple for a steno. Well, Marg, this is some letter, me telling you all my troubles and family interests whom you have never seen. Oh well, we can fix that up again. Nearly 3 months since I last kissed you, isn't it? How time flies. It doesn't seem that long. Each time I look at those snaps of you, I can still feel them, exes I mean, and it doesn't seem such a bad old world after all. Then the new year is coming around soon, and I'll probably see you again. Maybe receive another kiss and a good old hug, then I'll be okay for the winter again. I'm not hard to please, am I? But it takes someone good to please me. Do you know who? Well dear, write soon, won't you? An excuse, scratched and misspelled words, etc. As ever. Roger, X.